Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Rachna's GK Vlogs, Travel and Education and Wellness. I believe you have subscribed to my channel, and if you have not, please do subscribe and watch all the videos, like and share them. My channel is devoted more to education and partly to travel, and it aims at creating a positive atmosphere. Uh, at It aims at bringing wellness uh, amongst you all. So today we are going to talk about BRICS. Yesterday, when Chandrayaan landed on Moon, you must have seen that our Prime Minister greeted the scientists and congratulated them from Johannesburg, where he has gone to attend the 15th annual BRICS meeting. So, what is BRICS and why it was formed? BRICS is the acronym, and it denotes the emerging national economies of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Originally, it was BRIC. South Africa was included in it in 2010 only. The term was originally coined by Goldman Sachs economist Jim O'Neill in 2001 in his report Building Better Global Economy. This was the time after globalization which had begun in 1991 had impacted these countries, which had then been developing countries and belonged to global south. And what was happening that these countries which were still developing did not have much voice in WTO or the organizations which were there before WTO. To make their voices heard, these developing countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, came together, and the world could see that the economies of these countries were fast emerging, and it was believed that in near future these countries would become developed and they will be influencing the world. They were not seen as political entity. That is, BRICS was not supposed to have a political connotation. It was believed that it will act as an economic organization. But with economic growth comes political power, and this is what happened. And BRICS, when it included South Africa also, we can see that it started raising concerns in WTO, and its voice was somewhat better heard in the WTO. Foreign ministers of BRICS countries started meeting annually in 2006, and this was more informal meetings. But after that, that is from 2009, we can see that they started meeting annually at formal summits, and the first formal summit of BRICS was held in Russia, and 15th is being held in Johannesburg. And you must be hearing that more nations are looking towards BRICS, wanting to join it. There are about 40 nations that want to join BRICS, because we can see that BRICS is an upcoming organization. Although Goldman Sachs, which had coined the term BRIC or later BRICS, gave up this project in 2015 and closed its funds which were created to support BRICS countries. Generally speaking, uh, the meetings of the BRICS economies or BRICS countries are held for economic improvement, and uh, that was the main goal. However, BRICS nations play a more important role today. Uh, so friends, you must be wondering as to how did this international forum begin. Russia initiated the creation of BRICS, and on September 28, 2006, they held the first BRIC ministerial meeting. This meeting was proposed by the then Russian President Vladimir Putin, and it was proposed on the margins of United Nations General Assembly session in New York. The foreign ministers of Russia, China, and Brazil, and the defense minister of India took part in the meeting, and all of these ministers were interested to expand their multilateral cooperation. At the initiative of Russia, on May 16th, 2008, they hosted a meeting of BRICS foreign ministers in Russia itself. They issued a joint communique on common stances on topical global development after the meeting. The four BRICS countries are distinguished from a host of other promising emerging markets by their demographic and economic potential to rank among the world's largest and most influential economies in the 21st century. And together, if we talk about the original four BRIC countries, they comprise more than 2.8 billion people, or 40% of the world's population. And they cover more than a quarter of the world's land area over three continents and account for more than 25% of global GDP. This shows the magnitude of BRIC countries. A country's population and its demographics, among other factors, directly affect the potential size of its economy and its capacity to function as an engine of global economic growth and development. We can see that in all these countries, there are some factors which are conducive to economic development, and they are cheap labor and favorable demographies and availability of natural resources. In a world where commodities are in abundance, having these factors has benefited BRICS countries. So, recently you have seen that India has become the fifth largest economy of the world, and China is also racing to become the topmost economic power of the world and is ready to replace USA. And in fact, it is said that by 2050, BRICS countries would be in a more powerful position, and they will be competing with G6. That is a group of seven, and out of it, if we leave USA, which is certainly a developed nation and is still a superpower due to its political and economic strength, then the other six G developed countries, BRICS would be marching ahead of them. I will share with you some key indicators and statistics which are BRICS development indicators. which is population, GDP, GDP per capita, GDP average growth rate, GDP projected average growth rate, merchandise exports, etc. And you can clearly see the growth and development which G50 G BRICS countries have achieved. You can see in this slide all these key indicators. It includes UNDP's Human Development Index also. After globalization, one remarkable factor could be seen, that was the rise of middle class in BRICS countries. You know that in India too, there has been a tremendous rise in the middle class. In this slide, you can see that millions in the BRICS have entered middle class income bracket and far surpassing the G7. How the word middle class is expanding, this you can see in this slide which I have shared with you. So friends, all eyes this week are on Johannesburg as leaders of Brazil, India, Russia, China and South Africa uh, groupings are hosted by South African President. BRICS is essentially a movement of emerging economies, as we have seen, and thus gives a salience to economic issues. But given the geopolitical flux, especially after the Ukraine war, this BRICS summit has taken a new importance. And it is therefore no surprise that many Western capitals are watching the summit closely. In fact, French President Emmanuel Macron even suggested that he would attend BRICS meeting if he is invited, although France and other Western countries are not invited. The BRICS meet in Johannesburg comes at an important geopolitical and geo-economic moment, and this is the first in-person summit since 2019 and the COVID-19 pandemic. So let us celebrate G20 and BRICS, and I hope you are listening to my videos and have subscribed to my channel, and take care of yourself, and